Welcome to the Filipino American Woman Project podcast show, brought to you by our family on biasboba.com.
We're your co-hosts, Jen Amos
and Nani Dominguez-Smith.
After 3 seasons of sharing stories for Pinays by Pinays, we've gained the knowledge and language to articulate our experiences, and now we're ready to tell our own.
As we venture off into the world of business partnership, we want to bring you along for the ride.
Keep listening to hear how we explore our Pinay identities together as podcasters, content creators, and entrepreneurs.
Now, let's get into the show.
Woohoo! All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to a new episode, a new year. It's 2023. I'm Jen Amos, your creator and co-host of the Filipino American Woman Podcast. And once again, for the new year, I am joined with my co-host with me and business partner, Nani Dominguez-Smith. Nani Dominguez, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yes. And I thought I'd ask you, how was the holiday season?
Oh, wow. Well, it was good. It was busy and then slow, and I actually got a little bit of time to like relax and just catch up on things and even rest a little bit. So I think I'm grateful for this like really stormy weather that we've had over here lately, because there's really not a lot of motivation to go outside, and it's helping me kind of usher along the process of starting my spring cleaning and reading my books and, just doing all the stuff around the house that helps you prepare for a new season.
That's exciting. I like how you're already getting a head start to spring cleaning.
Yeah. I am in an active, aggressive purging mode where I'm just going through all the drawers, all the cabinets, all the closets, all the shelves, and tossing shit.
I love it.
Tossing everything. Everything must go. Speaking of, if anyone needs a baby crib, I'm trying to get rid of ours, and it is in brand new condition, although it's not brand new. But anyway, shameless plug.
It's like new, on eBay when they say new. Like new.
Exactly.
It's like that.
On Instagram, I said it's in sparkling condition.
There you go. I love it. That actually reminds me of my holiday season. So beginning of December, I had all these plans to celebrate the holidays and go to a bunch of holiday parties and do all these fun things. When I think it was December 2nd, when our landlord gave us the hint that his brother-in-law, which is the co-owner of our place at the time, that he wanted to sell the home. And so we were like, oh, okay, that's fun to kick off the holiday season. Yeah. And thank God I have to give a shout out to Melody Agbisit and her husband, Marian, because they have a rental unit a mile down from where we currently lived. And so for the majority of December, my husband and I moved to a new place. And fortunately, before that, we hired, this is even before we knew we were going to move, we hired a professional organizer because I wanted to start decluttering. I wanted to, make more space for other things in our home at the time. And so by the time we got the news and when we started to make the move, fortunately, I was already trained, to know what to get rid of. And there's an awesome nonprofit here in Hampton Roads called the Disabled American Veteran Thrift Store, where you can just, donate all your stuff and then they do what they can to resell it in the thrift store. And so we've been just going there to donate all our stuff. And, before Nani, it was really hard for me to let go of things because I think back to my mom who, as a widow, a single parent raising 3 kids, she had to hoard everything, even till this day, I'm sure she has stuff in her garage from my childhood or she's still using stuff from our childhood. I mean, as far as I know, she's still driving the same van, the same caravan that we had as kids 20 plus years ago. And so, my mom really modeled preservation to me. And so for me, it was really I felt like I needed to do that too. But of course, and I was reflecting about this over the holiday season, but I realized I have moved 8 times in the last 8 years. And every single time I had to, I had to declutter, I had to let go of things. And it was always hard for me. So for this time around, I'm just so grateful that I had the professional organizer because I was able to like work through my mental blocks and unpack like why it was hard for me to let go of certain things to the point now where even as we're continuing to settle into our new place, I'm like, oh, that can go in the donation box. Oh, that's okay. We don't need that, or we can give that
Yeah.
back to them, And so it's a very like therapeutic, transformative process because, what I've learned is that when you hoard, you're holding on to like your past identity and you're not making enough room for who you want to be, like moving forward, like for your future self. And so I feel good about that, Nani. And I'm just gonna say yay us for, reorganizing, decluttering and all that fun stuff for 2023.
Yeah, I think that what we are alluding to here with the like hoarding habits is
Yeah.
practicing like non attachment or like even letting attachments go. So it's all around this theme of attachment. And like, even if you think it's just a bowl, that you got from your grandma's house, it's like that has sentimental value. And even if you never use the bowl, it's ugly, it's stained, it's tarnished, like you still want to keep it because it means something to you.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, things like that are piling up in your house. And so it's like, okay, where can I more appropriately put this? Like you said, the donation box or the trash, or where am I going to make space for it in my home? But I think in 2023, I just really want to be intentional with all my spaces, like mental and physical. And I want to make sure that all the spaces that I occupy are like functional and not just like full of all these sentimental things or full of all these attachments that I've been collecting. Because
Yeah.
I think what you were trying to say earlier is like holding on to or hoarding all of those attachments that, come a dime a dozen is like inhibiting the space that you have available for growth. And we really want to make space for growth this year. So I'm glad we're on the
Yes.
same page with like our purging and our spring cleaning. And even if there were different catalysts, I think it's the time to be doing it.
Yeah. Word. That's all I can say. Hi, Mama Rayche or Rayche. Rayche. I think it's Mama Rayche. Thanks for joining us. And Rachel commented, Rachel, I always love how engaged you are in our live stream. So Rachel says, for as long as I've known Jen, she's always moving. I know. Glad you're able to get settled into a new place. P.S. I think the housing market will start to cool down as interest rates increase. Of course, Rachel being the real estate or mobile home girl, of course, I do appreciate that tip. Yes, for the most part, I want to reassure our community that my husband and I feel incredibly good about this home. Our landlords, which happens to be my friend Melody and her husband, they put so much love into this home. Like there's just so many little like things about the home, so many little quirks where it's just thoughtful. I remember like as we started to get settled in, how emotional I was feeling because I was like, for the longest time being in the East Coast for the last 4 years, all I wanted to do was to get settled somewhere and to build a local community and have resources. That's really what it's about, is like when you have a community, you have resources. And so this home really is a manifestation of how hard I have worked to build a local community and gain those resources. And what better than to have a home, where it just feels like it's so full of love. And I feel very confident, Rachel, that that we're going to live here for a couple of years, like not 1 year, not 10 months. Like I'm so over it. In fact, Nani, you'll be proud of me. And I know I mentioned this in our community. I'll get more specific on what I mean community later. So after our vision board event with Dr. Abby last year, I decided to actually create a vision board. And if you guys are hearing this for the first time, I'm not a big vision board person because I kind of compare it to like New Year's resolutions. And I just think it's one of those like grandiose acts that people do in the moment, but then like don't follow through, meaning me, like I'll do it and it'll be really exciting and magical, but then I'll completely just like dismiss the vision board for the rest of the year. But this time around, I feel a lot different. Like I feel more stable. And I feel like I'm allowed to dream big or even just start dreaming and dreaming, small and working up to the bigger dreams. And so one of the things I put on my vision board, Nani, was that this year I'm determined to break the cycle of starting over because I just seem to be attracted to that kind of life where as soon as like something in my life is taking off, I have to take off. And I'm like, no, I'm done with that life. Like I'm 35. I just turned 35 in December. and I'm like over it. I need to settle down somewhere. So I feel very confident about this home. So if you all can keep me in your thoughts and prayers and hope. But yes, I'm excited for this year, Nani. Lots of new foundations have been laid out, including a lot of the announcements that we're going to be sharing today.
Yes. No, I'm really happy that you found a place that feels like home for one and, someone that you are so close with as Melody to really take care of the home and go out of their way, like you said, to put these little quirks in place that make it feel like home for you. And I think it's been a long time coming that you guys settled down.
Yeah. Yes, please. Please and
Yeah.
thank you. All right. Moving on. We have some major announcements today, and I don't think we'll take like a normal hour to do this because Nani and I have work to do. But for starters, you may have noticed that by the time this episode is coming out, you may be like, oh, like for anyone that follows our show religiously, like every Fridays, you may have noticed that we haven't published an episode in like 2 to 3 weeks. And part of it is because Nani and I are building out something new and something big. And the thing is, we still have the same limited time together to work on things. And so we really had to sit down and decide, okay, what would be the best use of our time when we're available in real time and when we're available independently. And I will say that, podcasting is almost like a full-time job in itself because you got to create the agenda, you got to do the recording, you got to get it edited, you got to do the final edits, and then you got to push it out there, you got to market it. And a lot of times it doesn't leave room to pursue other projects or other initiatives. And so you are all here to hear it for the first time. Adriana just joined us. You're here to hear new
Hey, boo.
updates right now. So thanks for joining us.
That's my best friend.
Oh, hi. You have so many best friends, Nani.
Not too many, only 4.
Only 4. I only have one, Nani. I have one best friend. And I talked to him today. It was great. We talk to each other every day thanks to, okay, this is not a sponsor, but my best friend and I send audio messages all the time through otter.ai. And it's just been such a great way to communicate because we live in different time zones. But it makes it easy for us to communicate all the time because we just send each other pre-recordings of how we're doing and stuff like that. But anyway, what was I going to say? So anyway, the big news this year is we started season 4 of the TFAW Project last October. And we initially said that this was going to be a weekly show. And we did that consistently, October, November, and December, at least until the last Friday of December. Well, for 2023, we have decided that we are going to publish a minimum of 1 episode a month now on the podcast. I mean, depending on our bandwidth and our availability and how often we do IG Live, which we'll have more updates about that in a second. We are deciding to prioritize other projects to continue to focus on community engagement and community building with all of you. And the thing is with podcasting, it's all, pre-recorded. I mean, yes, we're doing it here in IG Live right now, but it doesn't invite you to have an open dialogue with us the way that doing IG Live does or any other community building ways. And so we realize we want to cut back on our time as podcasting to be more involved online, on our socials and in this new community that we're going to be talking about here in a second. So, Nani, anything you want to add about this new change we're doing for our podcast?
Yeah, well, I think that this is just a direct result of the intentions that we're setting for ourselves this year, especially as we have announced ourselves as business partners now instead of just podcasters and content creators. Recording podcasts for you guys and creating content is only one aspect of running a business.
Mm-hmm.
And up until now, that's, all that we did, all that we offered. And now we're ready to open the floodgates and invite you guys into a host of other offerings that we're going to be putting out there in 2023. And so with that comes the time obviously that's needed to stand those things up and flesh out the details and make them presentable for you, which we've been, working just hand over fist to do. And therefore we don't have as much time or capacity to record. So we're really trying to shift our efforts this year, like I said, from content creators and from podcasters to our entrepreneurial journey. And we hope that you will follow along with us. I know that there's been a lot of shifts. If you've been a day one member of the TFAW Project family, then you know we have offerings on a number of different platforms and spaces that you all love to engage with us, but we are looking to consolidate that all to make it easier on everyone, both us and you in 2023. So we appreciate your patience and we just really, really appreciate those of you who stick along for the ride.
Yeah, absolutely. And more importantly, this is really in thanks to you, our listeners, our Discord members, our newsletter subscribers, our social media subscribers, our everybody, who have been involved, our Bias Boba supporters, our biasboba.com supporters and members. I feel like this was just a natural progression, to continue to refine the way that we communicate with all of you. And so we're incredibly excited to be engaging with you all more in real time. Just be on the lookout. You'll probably see us posting more on Instagram stories and maybe some more video, like short video clips online. I know that one of the efforts we're going to be doing with Dennis is actually reinvigorating our YouTube channel, or like revamping our YouTube channel to have more, short video clips or just more content on there. But yeah, like we just have to shift our time and effort to be able to reach more of you. And, because we have like our really loyal, committed, consistent community on Discord and other spaces. And we want to grow it. We just want to grow the family, Nani, and get more people involved. And part of that too is recognizing the value we offer in the marketplace as a result of, what you and I have built in the last 3 years that we've done, 4 years that we've done this together. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think it's been 4 years because that was like 2019 and it's now 2023. So that's like 4 years, right?
That's pretty wild.
That's 4 years. That's almost 4 years. Like since summer will be our 4-year anniversary.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. That's like so wild. Like you did not have a baby when I first met you.
I know. Yeah. My life was so different.
Yeah. I was living in a different house, of course.
Of course. Yeah.
My life was like so different at that time. Our lives were so different at that time.
They were.
And yet here we are, still like co-hosts and now business partners and everything. So yeah, that is really the biggest update we want to share with all of you, is that we are going to be focusing more of our time engaging with you on social media and what we're building next. All right. So other than that, Nani, any other updates or anything else to add onto that before I move to our next announcement?
No, I think we should go ahead and get into it.
Okay, cool. All right. So moving on, let's go ahead and share with all of you, before we give you the big announcement, we want to let you know how you can engage with us in real time. So just as a recap, every first Friday of the month, Nani and I are planning on going on IG Live just like this. And this is typically going to be us actually recording a TFAW Project episode, but we're bringing you in real time to see it before it gets polished up and published on our podcast. And so every Fridays, this is what we're going to be doing. So we do first Fridays of the month. So thank you all for, joining us right now. And, feel free to say something in the comments if you want us to read it out loud and have your comment included in our upcoming TFAW Project episode. So there's that. First Friday of every month, we'll be going on IG Live to record a TFAW Project episode. And then so this is new. So starting every second Tuesday of the month in the evening, it's going to be a little late. I think, well, I'll have to confirm the times, but I think it's like, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. So it's going to be like, this is for all you evening folk who can't join us like first thing in the morning, or not first thing in the morning, because it's technically like, for me, it's already like 3 o'clock. So
it's definitely the afternoon.
Yeah, it's definitely afternoon. So for all of you night owls, we are now going to have an evening Instagram live show on Tuesdays, every second Tuesday of the month, with Dr. Abby. So we have been in collaboration with her for the last couple of weeks now. We're currently reading her book, Speak Up Anak, in our book club. And for the vision board event that we did last December, the last week of December, she actually was hosting it. And, she's the reason why I have a printed vision board on my wall right now that I'm like looking at, because of the way that, her and everyone that was part of that vision board event I guess, comforted me and let me know like how safe it is to actually do a vision board, and it doesn't always have to be this grandiose act. And I feel comforted also knowing that like Nani's like a pro at vision boards, so you just like do it all the time. So I mean, not all the time. I know you don't do it all the time, but you're comfortable with it.
Yeah, I
And
do it often for sure.
yeah. And so just knowing that there are people who enjoy doing it, and that it doesn't have to be this, like once you make it, it doesn't have to be permanent. You could always like edit it, revise it, completely start over and all that. But, I just really appreciate that. But anyway, Dr. Abby, we really enjoy our collaboration with her. And so every second Tuesday of the month in the evening, of course, be on the lookout for the details on the specific times. We're planning on having a workshop with her here on Instagram Live. And so, Nani, do you want to share the theme of 2023 as well as the theme of these upcoming workshops we're going to have with Dr. Abby on Instagram Live?
Yes. So, as for our private podcast members, those who have subscribed to the rated R version of the TIFA project called Chismes with Jen and Nani, know or maybe have accessed the replays of events from when we first stood up our private podcast that were hosted by former interviewees of the TIFA Project podcast. And so, if you remember those workshops, these are going to be similar, but now this series is going to be hosted by Dr. Abby, who Jen was just talking about, the author of Speak Up and Knock, the book that we're reading right now in our book club, and two-time TEDx speaker. She's just really, really amazing. And she is going to be walking us through how many workshops, like 4 workshops, I believe, on our theme of the year, which is assertiveness. Surprise, surprise. If
Yes.
you have listened to any of our recent episodes, then you already know that is the theme that we have been running with as of lately, and we continue to do so in the new year. So we're really going to dive in these 4 workshops to explore assertiveness in Filipino Americans when it comes to our personal relationships, platonic, romantic, all of the above, relationships with family and friends, relationships with positions of authority, or where there is that like superiority, inferiority complex,
hmm
and just getting into the nitty gritty of what it looks like to be assertive in all those different contexts. So, yes, that is how we will be kicking off the new year.
Yes, we're so excited about it because, I mean, for me, I'm especially excited because as much as I like leading, I also am happy to follow. And Nani and I, we have been, leading this show for obviously like 3-4 years now. And so it's always nice when we have a guest, come onto our show to lead something, like to lead a workshop, to lead in teaching something. And so we very much enjoy doing that with a number of our guests early on, like you said, Nani, when we first started our private podcast show, Chismes with Jen and Nani, on biasbubble.com. And it was just so fun to be in the audience and to answer any questions that, the facilitator was asking. And, we definitely got a taste of that with Dr. Abby with the vision board event. And
Yeah.
so now it'll be incredibly exciting for all of you. Like if you all are interested in learning more about assertiveness or being more assertive, maybe even being a compassionate, assertive person, if you're already an assertive person, Dr. Abby is the perfect person to learn that from. And so once again, we will be every second Tuesday of the month, we will be having an IG Live workshop with her. So here on our Instagram account, we would love to have you all there. And we'll talk later about like if you so happen to not be able to attend in real time, like where you can get access to that replay. But other than that, we are just very excited to continue our collaboration with Dr. Abby. She really has been such a great addition to the TIFA project.
Yeah, honestly, we have interviewed so many amazing women on the TIFA project, and they all have like a range of specialty,
hmm
that they've been working on their own craft in their own time since their interview. And there's so much for us to learn from all of them. And I think that Dr. Abby especially has been, specializing in this theme of assertiveness in Filipino Americans or Asian Americans, as a whole, and really doing a lot of extensive, like, what do you call it, research into that. And
hmm
so, she's a psychologist who dedicated the last few years of her life to really hammering out these details and coming up with facts. And she's contributed so much to the Filipino American community when it comes to mental health and psychology and all these things that we really center here on our show. So when we first stood up our membership, it was intended to do just that, like hand the mic to all these amazing women that we have made connections with through the podcast and just learn from them, like you said. So I'm really
Hmm.
excited to be getting back into that in the new year. And the fact that we've already been reading the book and, talking in Discord and now our new platform about this theme of assertiveness, I think that we're all like primed and ready to go for this content.
Yes, absolutely. So, with that said, I just want to give a shout out to a couple of people. We have Cynthia, who was a past guest on our show, Living Fully IG, joining us. And she says, "Love you all so much. So inspiring." Thank you, Cynthia. It's good to see you again.
Yes.
I wish I can like look up which episode you were on, but I don't want to like mess up any of my technology right
I
now.
know I have way too much going on right now.
Yeah. So Cynthia with a C, y'all. So I don't know if Rachel, if you're on, I'm sure you can like look it up for us if you
Yeah.
wanted to. No pressure though. And I see Genevieve who's on, who was a friend of mine back when I lived in Chula Vista. So thank you so much for joining us in real time right now. And we also have Portraits of Hugh joining us. So thank you so much for joining us in real time. Really appreciate you all taking the time to come on here. Like, I know it's Friday and it's like a little more cash for some people, but you could have spent your time anywhere else. You could be watching any other person's live stream, but you're choosing to be here. So we thank you so much for giving us your real time, your undivided attention. Maybe not undivided. You might be like multitasking right now as you're watching this, which is like totally fine too. But we're very happy to have you all here and joining us in real time. And you get to see what happens behind the scenes before we, publish this on our podcast. So Genevieve says, "Thanks for the shout out. Good hearing you all." Yes, yes. It's so great. So great. Yes, of course. Got to give a shout out. All right. So moving on, as I mentioned, as a recap, every first Friday of the month, Nani and I are going on IG Live. Every second Tuesday of the month in the evening, we're going on Instagram Live with Dr. Abby. And then every third Friday of the month is our traditional book club sessions. And so we have been consistently doing this book club on a monthly basis for, I would say, almost a year,
Yeah.
because I think like when we first started with Caitlin, like almost a year and a half ago, we kind of did it like maybe like every 1 to 3 months or whatever. But then when we realized that other people actually wanted to join us, we thought, oh, let's make it more consistent. And so even though we don't always do it the third Friday of every month, like I know last month I wasn't, actually, let me explain myself. If anyone was there at the book club, so I was there. I just dialed in on my phone. So if anyone like actually saw like a random phone number in the Zoom room, that was me. And I just felt like the conversation was going so well that I didn't want to interrupt. And also I was celebrating my birthday that day. It wasn't my birthday, it was like post birthday day, but I was in a very noisy place and I just didn't want to like unmute myself and you guys basically hear all that and I'm like fighting over like all the ambiance that was happening around me at that time. But yes, for the most part, we are committed to doing our book club every third Friday of the month. And so if you have enjoyed engaging with us in our, let's say in our free Discord community, or you enjoyed being part of our free 5-day reflection series on Instagram, which is basically a 5-day opportunity to reflect with other people in our community and answer questions that we used to ask on the TFAW Project to our guests. But if you have enjoyed that and you want to have a more intellectual conversations or dialogue with our community, the book club is perfect for it because although we don't require you to read the book or whatever book we're reading at the time, it is a great opportunity to learn from other people in our community, to hear their perspective on whatever book we're reading on, or even hear your perspective on what book we're reading on. And it's only a monthly commitment. And yeah, we've done a couple books so far, Nani. So when we first started, we did America is in the Heart by Carlos Bulosan. And then we did Little Manila is in the Heart by Don Mabalan. And then we did Latinos of Asia by Anthony Christian Ocampo. And then now we're doing Speak Up and Knock with Dr. Abby. And I'm very proud of myself for remembering all 4 of those books, by the way.
I know.
Yeah, I just like said it so easily. But yeah, and the cool thing is if you cannot make it in real time, we do provide the replays in our community. And so, Nani, any thoughts on the book club and your experience and, why people should join?
Well, why people should join, because I think it's a great opportunity to learn if you're someone who is searching to identify more with your Filipino roots, or you want to learn about Filipino history, culture, specifically Filipino American history and culture. There's not a lot of like spaces out in the world to do that. And so we've really taken a lot of time to carve out this space not just to like, pick a book and read it together, but actually talk about it, and not just in
Hmm.
our monthly sessions, but provide like chat spaces in between, like Discord or our new platform, where as we read, we can share our thoughts with each other and discuss about it. And it doesn't have to wait until, the next book club meeting when you probably forget what you were thinking in that moment in time. So it's just a really special opportunity, I think, for us to connect and learn from each other. And like you said, you don't have to read the book even if you just want to come for the conversation, because, like I said, you want to learn more about your Filipino American history, culture, connect with your roots, et cetera, et cetera. Learn the stories of Filipino Americans, both before you and that are, living, walking, breathing authors today. You can totally just join for those conversations and to take from it whatever we, the readers, are putting out there and sharing about our interpretations of the book. But there's absolutely no pressure to actually read if you don't want to. You can totally read the book through us, vicariously. So again, we're trying to make it as accessible as possible and as easygoing and as fun as possible, because I think a lot of people get stressed out about the idea of reading a book or like committing to reading a full book. I know many of us experience like picking up books that we think we'll like, and then we get into it and we don't like it so much, or it loses our attention, so we never finish them. This is really intended to be a space of like, okay, let's not create more work just for the sake of creating work, but let's actually pull the meat out here and like put it somewhere for reference material.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I really love about our book club, I'm just kind of reiterating what you said, but what I love the most is just hearing everyone's individual interpretations of the book. And then, their interpretation of other people's interpretations, and tying in their personal story, saying like, oh, I can relate to this because, or I can't relate to this because maybe I wasn't raised in a very like Filipino environment growing up, So it's just really cool to hear, that we all truly come, in the whole Filipino diaspora, that we all come from different walks of life, and yet we have this common goal to better understand ourselves. And what I love especially is understanding ourselves in community with each other. So I just think that is a very vulnerable thing to do, to put yourself out there. Cause I know for myself, like, being an introvert, like, and I don't consider myself a shy person in any way, but like, I definitely would prefer like to do things by myself, and like learn on my own. But because of the show, I've really opened up to the idea of leaning against community to learn about myself and not have to like, take on this daunting task of dissecting a book on my own. I get to do it in community with all of you. And I really see it as a team effort. We're all like sharing our ideas to help one another dissect the book and, learn more about ourselves and each other, and, walk away feeling more proud of who you are as a Filipino person, or, someone who's even just interested in our Filipino community, because we definitely have, like, even though we're like Filipino centric, we've definitely attracted people who are not even Filipino in our community, which I absolutely, absolutely love. I think that just means that we are speaking a lot of universal truths in the work that we're doing. So, real quickly, I just want to give a shout out to a couple of people here on Instagram Live. So, Rachel, give a shout out to Cynthia. So Cynthia's episode is episode 105. So thanks, Rachel, for doing that. Also, have to give a shout out to Rachel because she's always prepared with her notes for our book club, like
Yes,
always.
AKA we all read vicariously through her.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you, Rachel, for always just being ready for that and willing to do that. And yes, one of the next books so just a hint for people joining us here today, one of the next books we do plan on reading after Speak Up and Knock is the Instant Pot Cookbook, the Filipino Instant Pot Cookbook. And so, Nani, you actually know one of the co-authors, right?
I do, yeah. I was doing a panel presentation for Filipino American History Month at my job, and he was in the event. So we worked together at the same company, and
Wonderful.
he had reached out and connected with me through that event. And I fully intend to get them involved in our book club somehow. And I
Yes.
think we would all enjoy a nice little like tutorial or something from the Instant Pot cookbook authors. So
Yes.
that is in the works if you guys are interested in cooking lessons, which we actually have done already before on Chismes with Jen and Nani. So yeah, if you want to learn how to cook champorado, that's there for
Yes.
you.
Oh yeah, I still owe our audience a champorado cooking on my
Yeah,
end.
that's
I know I
true.
still do. I
Years
am so
later.
behind. I'm so behind on a lot of things. And just again, like now that we're
Yeah.
settled into a new home, I'm hoping that like I can really catch up with a lot of things. But yeah, thank you, Rachel, for bringing that up. And then Rachel also says, Nani is such a great networker, meeting the author and all. And shout out to Love Taya. So
That's
thank
my
you.
cousin.
Oh, hi, cuz. Thanks for joining us in real time. And then Cynthia made a comment about Dr. Abby. Dr. Abby is a boss. Excited for her to be hosting workshops. Yes. Yeah, we are very excited as well. She's already done an incredible job with our vision board event that took place the last week of December. Shout out to Abigail Pidazzo for joining us in real time here. And Cynthia, who is Living Fully IG, says, amazing. I get all anxious committing to book clubs. Thank you for addressing that concern in that way.
Mhm.
Yes, we know firsthand like how intimidating book clubs can be. And that is why, like, just like with our show, I think in general, we have this theme of come as you are. And we want to continue to like let that be the foundation of everything we build. So anything that we offer, we want to make sure that people feel comfortable coming as they are. Like even with our 5-day reflection series on Instagram, we tell people like if you're part of the 5 days and maybe you just want to listen to others, then that's great. Like you don't have to answer any of the reflection questions. Really, what we're most grateful for is your presence. And if you do contribute, like even better. But I guess we have very low standards, Nani, in regards to
Yeah.
like how we want people to engage with us. But it turns out to be fruitful anyway, because we do have assertive people in our community who love expressing themselves.
Yeah.
And so it's so great to have that diversity of personalities in our community.
Yeah, you know what the thing I love most about our community is that everyone seems to be so mindful and respectful of the space that they take up. So like
Yeah.
naturally, some people are extroverted, some people are introverted, some people like to scope the scene first, some people like to dive right in, and I think we have a really good mix of folks who like are more comfortable being quiet and they need a little bit more encouragement to come out of their box, and then we have some people who are ready to go and, just like willing to share all the time, yet
Hmm.
both kind of like make space for the other. So I really appreciate that
Yeah.
dynamic about our group. And hey,
Yeah.
Chachi, we miss you too.
Good job, everyone. We know we do appreciate everyone. Yeah, I like that. I never really saw it that way. And so I do appreciate you explaining it that way because that's very true. Like I feel like so far we haven't had someone come in like guns ablazing and just being really obnoxious. I mean, maybe one person, maybe one, if you know who I'm talking about. But
Okay, well, that's an inside joke for our Discord community. So if you guys want to know,
yeah, if you guys want to know the chismis, there's like one person, but
then
but
we
we
won't
love
be
them.
sharing.
Yeah, but we love them. We love them, and I noticed that they have like dialed it down on their own. So
Well, see, that's what I'm talking about. People
yeah,
are like
yeah,
mindful of it on their own. So there's not a lot of, like you would imagine in any kind of group setting or community that there's some kind of like facilitation or like, nudging that the
yeah,
moderators have to do. And I don't feel like we've had to do a lot of that because everyone gets along so well.
yeah. I agree. I agree. I second all of that. So continuing on, some shout outs here. So Shivy Shiv, thanks for joining. And Gen V Therapy. Oh my, I love all like the therapy representation here. Like there's so many
Yeah,
like Fil-Ams like in mental health. Like, yes, I love it. I'm here for it. Shout
me
out to
too.
you, Gen V Therapy. Also, Abigail Pedazzo says, hi, y'all are the sweetest. Thanks for seeing your community. Okay, thanks for saying you can hear us. Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, you guys like lots of comments here since we had our technical issues. Chachi, great to see you again. We miss you and we would very much love to hear from you more often again. I hope you had a good holiday season. And Abigail says, I really, really love that. Come as you are as a TIFA Foundation. Yeah, yeah. It's incredibly important to us because we want that in return. You know, we hope that in giving you that space to come as you are, you will also give us that space. And long and behold, Nani, like people give us so much grace and understanding and they're rooting for us. And, I haven't gotten an angry email yet for like not publishing an episode like the last Friday of December or even the first Friday of January. So
So I
you know,
think it's
just
gonna be okay.
yeah, so I think we're going to be okay. So we're not in trouble. No, I was kidding. And we're just really grateful for all of you and, you know, your love and support for our community. So anyway, overall, if you're joining us for the first time, we just want to let you know that as a recap, we are going to be spending less time publishing podcast episodes. We may do at least a minimum of once a month because we want to focus more of our time engaging with all of you and our online community. So part of that is we're doing 2 IG live shows every month, first Friday of every month, as well as second Tuesday of every month. And then, of course, we have our monthly book club, which is every third Friday with my fingers, every third Friday of the
Every
month.
third Friday.
Yeah, there you go. I was like, oh, which hands is it? Yeah, still not fully recovered. But anyway, so that's really what we wanted to share with all of you today. But actually, the biggest thing, the biggest thing that we wanted to share with you all as I pull up my notes here because we had a refresh and all my notes went missing. The biggest update that you all are hearing today. The reason why we're investing more time in our community and publishing less is because Nani and I are actively building out a new platform. So if you have joined us on Discord, just know that this is like Discord 2.0. Like we are moving house or we're moving from a rental property to a home. We're
Into a
homeowner
home.
into
Yeah.
a home like Jen. Except I'm still a renter, but anyway. But like the point is that we are officially moving into a new home, a new platform for our community where we are able to consolidate everything. So rather than having Discord separate and having our biasboba.com community separate and kind of having all these like separate places, which that was never our intention to make all these separate places. It just kind of, as the show continued to grow, we wanted to make ourselves available in certain platforms. But now we realize that in order for Nani and I to make the most out of our time, because we have limited time doing this together, we realize we need to consolidate our community and we want to have a place that feels like home for all of you online and for us. So with that said, gosh, I'm like so excited. I don't even know where to begin, Nani. We didn't really like rehearse this, but
No, we
should I tell them what the website is?
I
Like the
think we
website?
should start
Yeah?
there. Yes.
Okay, y'all. So if you have been an active supporter of us, you know that we often encourage all of you to join us on biasboba.com. And as a recap, biasboba.com, you can support us a minimum of 1 cup of boba, or you can, show us your monthly commitment to subscribe to our private podcast show, Chismis with Jen and Nani. And so now we are consolidating everything and we're actively building out this new community on, and I'm going to put it in the comment here in case anyone wants to join us. Of course, if you are in our Discord community or if you're already engaging with us, you'll know that we've already given you the heads up of this community. So make sure you check that out before you check out this link. But for everyone that is hearing this for the first time, our new community is going to take place on, and I'm going to put it in the chat here, the suspense. Someone put like a drum emoji as I type this because this is really hard to type when my computer is like, or when my phone's like kind of slanted. I have my phone on a tripod, y'all. Okay, so here it is. This is where you will find our new community, the new Filipina.com. We have Amanda and Kyra who just joined us. You just got a major update. We have a new community. We are moving from our Discord community and from a lot of our other spaces like biasboba.com and consolidating it onto the new Filipino.com. And so you can join us now. The house is up, Nani. Like we're still building it out. We're still like adding rooms and stuff like that, but you can essentially join us now at the new Filipina.com. So, Nani, we have been working really hard on this behind the scenes. I know you have some thoughts to share with our audience about this.
Oh God, so many. They're all just like swarming around in my head right now. And yeah, we have been offline a lot because we've been consumed with standing this platform up. So we finally have like the stilts up and we're still like, putting the roof and the walls and the windows and decorating and figuring out what goes where and slowly but surely starting to bring over our community from all these different places that we have kind of scattered our offerings
Yeah.
and slowly consolidating them onto this one platform where we'll be doing everything. And it's not fully fleshed out, but we are launching it and announcing it to you all so that you can join us on there. There are a number of different ways you can engage, just like, our traditional style. The only difference is that now it's all in one place. So you can just like explore with ease and jump from one place to the next and just get all of the things that we are putting out there easily and conveniently. So, yes, my head is kind of like bogged down with thoughts because we've been working on this for so long and
Oh my God,
so
yeah.
aggressively that we didn't really take a lot of time to think about how we were going to present it to you guys just yet. We're just so
Yeah.
excited. We couldn't contain it any longer. So we encourage you guys to go to thenewfilipina.com and check out different ways that you can engage with us there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so here's the thing though. So if you are part of our Discord community, if you are already a biasboba.com supporter or a member, please check out those platforms. We are actively releasing updates on how you can join us on the newfilipina.com. So if you are already on those platforms, please check that out. Or if you are part of them and you're not sure where to find the information, you can direct message us here on Instagram or, find all the ways to contact us because we have a lot, our email, our phone number, all that. And so we want to make sure that you get the insider scoop onto the newfilipina.com. So for everyone else, we highly encourage you to check out the newfilipina.com. We would love to have you there. I do want to give a shout out to the initial people who made the jump from Discord community onto the New Filipina. So shout out to Suki, who of course Suki is just active in everything that we do. So we love you, Suki. Shout out to you. Your dad, Nani, Uncle Angelo, is also part of this community. And also to Clarissa Velasco, who is actually a biasboba.com member who has made the leap. So thank you, Clarissa, for joining us. And of course, Jeremy Monton, who actually, Nani, Jeremy was part of the reason why we started initially on Discord to start to have like a main place for our community to be built. So shout out to you, Jeremy, for kind of setting us off on this path. And now we're at a place where we're like, okay, we got to like consolidate everything. And so thank you for joining us. And of course, Ali is actually a local friend of mine here in Hampton Roads area. So thank you so much for joining us. And so once again, you all can check it out now at thenewfilipina.com. It's desktop friendly and it's mobile friendly. You could actually download the app on your phone. Could you believe that? Like, look at us, like advancing in life.
Yeah.
Like you're using technology. So we're extremely excited about it. And let's talk a little bit about what's available right now, Nani, in the community. So we are renaming our Discord community to another name. Nani, I'll let you present it because it was your idea. So what are we now calling our Discord community on thenewfilipina.com?
Okay, on the newfilipina.com, our Discord slash chat room feature is called the Chismis Corner. So that's where you want to start. And that is kind of our, we didn't think about how we were going to say this. That is kind of the first level of engagement that you can do on the newfilipina.com is
Mhm.
hang out with us at the Chismis Corner.
Yes. And so if you are already familiar with our Discord channels where we could talk about like what you're doing your day to day or sharing anything about podcasting, music, business, family, relationships, like all that stuff, we have consolidated a lot of those channels on the newfilipina.com in our Chismis Corner. The second thing that we also have available right now is our book club. And so we made some revisions to our book club. So what we want to do is encourage you to check out the newfilipina.com. And if you want to be part of our book club, like how you can do that, we've definitely made a lot of changes since we moved on from biasboba.com. And to our biasboba.com members, just know that we are going to be reaching out to all of you personally to make sure that you make the transition over and all the good stuff. So like again, anyone that's been on Discord or biasboba.com, you're going to be getting a special message from us on how to make that transition. And of course, for everyone else, we highly recommend that you check out the newfilipina.com. We don't have a lot of like messaging on there just yet because we initially rolled this out to our Discord and biasboba.com community. But just know that we are actively building it out and actively adding content on there. And we would very much love to have you all join us. And that's it. I think we're still building out. Like, yeah, we're very excited about it, Nani. And I think that's all I have to say for now. Obviously, we like literally didn't practice this. We're telling you this. We're pitching you for the first time.
Yeah,
I'm
just
like,
off the top of our heads. So
yeah,
check back with us regularly for updates and for new features available because we're literally about to hop off of this recording right now and go work on it some more.
yeah.
So,
That's exactly what we're going to be doing.
yeah, if you're on IG Live with us right now and you click the link and you're looking at it right now, it's going to be completely different in 24 hours. So just keep
Yeah,
checking back.
yeah, absolutely. Or
Well, not
bookmark the
completely
new.
different, but there's going to be more stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it, Nani. That is all our major updates. So, just being more engaged with all of you, like having a minimum of 3 real-time events, online on Instagram, as well as our book club. And then, of course, we have our new community, thenewfilipina.com, where we are consolidating all the ways that we're engaging with you. And so we're just incredibly excited and, grateful. Actually, this is possible because of all of you, because of our biasboba.com supporters and our members. We really made an investment in having this platform. And so we hope that you will also want to make the investment in us and really our community as a whole to support Filipina-led media and join us on thenewfilipina.com. So, the last thing I want to mention, Nani, is because our old site is biasboba.com. I'm sure that our listeners here today are wondering, why the new Filipina? Like, where does that come from? And so actually, this is inspired from our book club. So there was a book that we read early on, Little Manila is in the Heart by Don Mabalan. And we talk all about it in the book club, of course, and we have the book club replays if you want to listen to them on thenewfilipina.com. But there's a part in the book, in her very huge, thick book, that addresses what it means to be the new Filipina. I wish I can look it up right now. I think I can hold up. I could look it up. I can look it up. I have to read this to
Yeah,
all of
where
you.
do we have those notes?
Yeah, I do have them somewhere, I promise.
Okay.
Let me just look it up in my Kindle. I'm going to pull it up on my computer and hopefully everything's okay.
Smart thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully nothing like shuts down as I do this.
As we juggle the 15 devices and apps that we have open right now.
Yeah, like you guys have no idea. Like we have wires everywhere, technology everywhere.
Yeah.
And I do want to end on this note because I want you all to understand where this phrase, the new Filipina, comes from and why we've decided to name this, name our community the new Filipina. And there's actually more to it. We do have more to the name, but we wanted to make sure that we kick off this new community named the new Filipina. So, Nani, anything you want to add as I try to find this about the phrase?
Yeah, while you're finding it, I'll just share some context also into another kind of source of inspiration for this new name, the new Filipina. A while back, like last year, I think, we had announced that we wanted to change the name of the TFAW Project podcast, actually, which we didn't end up doing because by popular demand, our community wanted us to keep the name. And, after we thought about it, it made sense. But we had already come up with a list of potential new names that were really resonating with us for multiple different reasons. And so I think when we decided to create this new platform where our community is going to be consolidated, we took that as the opportunity to like put one of these to use. And this one obviously just felt the most fitting because of the backstory we're giving you now and the quote that Jen is about to share with you from the book, Little Manila's in the Heart.
So just so y'all know, it's like a whole section. So I'm going to do my best to read it, okay, without like stumbling. So I'm doing this for Nani. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, here we go. So this is a section in Don Mabalan's book, Little Manila is in the Heart. And the section is called The New Filipina. And I want you guys to like think about, I don't know, I'm just going to read it. I was going to try to like hype it up, but I'm just going to read it. Okay, here we go.
Okay, just go.
So the section is called The New Filipina. In the first decades of the 20th century, Filipinas were transforming gender roles and perceptions in the Philippines as they responded to larger historical and economic pressures. The literature in gender roles in the Philippines characterizes women as queens of the domestic sphere. The queen archetype might have its origins in many Filipino legends and myths in which women are highly esteemed or have relative equality with men. According to the historian Encarnacion Alzona, y'all are welcome. I'm really bad at pronouncing names. Oh, here it is. In the pre-colonial Philippines, women enjoyed equal rights with men, and kinship was traced through both parents. However, feminist scholars such as, I'm just going to say feminist scholars, I'm not going to pronounce any names. Y'all have to read the book. Feminist scholars
We're paraphrasing.
note that the pre-colonial division of labor between men and women already carried the seeds of inequality because women were responsible for the domestic sphere while men were responsible for hunting, fishing, fighting, and governing. Spanish friars insisted on a model of Filipina womanhood that required them to be demure, modest, and devoutly Catholic, as was Maria Clara, which we used to talk a lot about, Nani, the Maria Clara archetype, which was the fair-skinned, prim, mestiza heroine of Jose Rizal's nationalist novel Nole Me Tendre, which means touch me not as a translation. a book translated into local languages by Spanish priests. So the book told Native girls to observe modesty in dress, speech, and manners, virginity before marriage, patience, and obedience at all times. Gender ideology shifted again as the American colonial regime imported Victorian racial, gender, and colonial hierarchies into the Philippines with a compulsory domestic science curriculum for girls. So, okay, I'm almost done, y'all. One more paragraph. This is actually the fun part. This is a part of how I knew that we needed to call this a new Filipina. So here it is. By the first decades of the 20th century, the American archetype of the new woman, educated, wage earning, athletic, and independent, had become a new model of womanhood for Filipinas. Yes. The establishment of co-educational institutions such as the University of the Philippines and Philippine Women's University, hospitals, and the civil service in the Philippines increased the demand for educated women professionals. Upper and middle class women began entering universities to become nurses, educators, doctors, lawyers, accountants, and other professionals. And a handful of women went overseas to study as pensionadas. I think I said that right. Some Filipinas became entrepreneurs and wage laborers in cities and villages, and a significant number of women became labor union organizers. Filipina suffragists won the vote in 1937. In Manila and Cebu, women founded groups devoted in educational advancement and better working conditions for women and children. Men of the elite classes began to complain that women were becoming too American. And then here's a quote. Shall this new Filipina, the unconscious victim of modernity, be allowed to lose her characteristic simplicity? A Filipino complained. And then the quote continues, women are already walking about alone, a little handbag under the arm, like a true, bold, little American missus. Even those immigrants from the remotest villages were exposed to some extent to these transformations in gender roles and opportunities. Okay, y'all got to read the book. Like the whole section following is called Love, Courtship, and Marriage. And I'll give you a little hint about this. The women in the Philippines, they were brought into, let's say, arranged marriages or what have you. I'm just like recapping this. In America, early on, women were able to marry for love, you know, and really what we're trying to say here, really the inspiration behind this is knowing that Filipinas way back in the 1900s were already redefining our gender roles. And we very much feel like we're doing the same thing here. So Nani, if I made any sense in what I just read, what are your thoughts?
Okay, that was a lot to follow.
It was a lot.
Shout
It was
out
a
to
lot.
Dennis, who will make it sound cohesive, and then it will
Yes.
make sense for those of you who are not listening to this on IG Live. But
Yeah,
for
I
those
tried
of
my
you who
best.
are, I think what this paragraph or this section of the book was trying to convey is that, you know, we're in a new age of culture, essentially.
Yeah.
And spaces like this, podcasts, blogs, books, you know, like all these different mediums that people are putting out their stories, sharing their life experiences and the experiences of their ancestors or their family members, etc., is really transforming the role that we play in society. And it's really like the decolonization process is unlearning and then relearning and then like gathering your toolbox to go out and like put that new knowledge to use. And so that is now the stage that we're in,
Mm-hmm.
is really redefining what it means to be a Pinay, what it means to be a Filipino American woman today in today's society, not, you know, what history tells us or how we've been painted or the Mara Clara archetype that we've been held to
Mm-hmm.
uphold for generations upon generations. We are the ones that nonsense kind of ends with, and we are the ones that have the power to shift culture essentially. And so that's really what this new name represents for us, is how we're shifting the culture.
Yes. Well said, Nani. I feel like maybe you should have just said that and I didn't have to read that whole section. But it looks like we still have some viewers on Instagram. So thank you all for sticking it out with me. But that's yeah, thanks guys. Appreciate it. But anyway, that's it. You know, Happy New Year, y'all. Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you, Abigail,
continual
for the snaps.
yeah, thank you. Even though, yeah, yes, thank you. We appreciate. Oh, I see hearts. I see some hearts. So thank you all. Okay, we got 2 more viewers, so that's good. That's good. Okay, yay. Thank you. Thank you for the hearts. Yeah. So Nani, I'm excited. So as we wrap up here, I just want to express how excited I am, and also how grateful I am for both of us to, really lean into this. And of course, to our community who has already joined us on the newfilipina.com. We believe in our community. We believe in our representation. We believe that we are the representation. And rather than waiting on someone to define us or waiting for someone or waiting for permission, we are coming together as a collective to show up as we are and grow together and learn together and build a sustainable community together. And it's my hope with this community, because at the end of the day, like, we all turn off our computers and have to live life, right? And it's my hope that in this community, for anyone who maybe doesn't have this in real life, that you have this online home so that you have that fortitude of confidence in yourself in the real world. You can take the love that we give you in this community and spread it out into the world. And whether it's at home or in your workplace or anywhere where you feel like you are not represented, we hope that in being part of this community, you show up with pride and excitement, to be Filipina or Filipino or Filipinx, or, just inspired because you're listening to the show. So anyway, Nani, we totally went, like, I thought we were going to do 30 minutes and here we are doing an hour and a half. So I'm going to wrap this up. We want to thank you all for joining us live. And we are actually going to be providing the replay of this, the polished version, on the next episode of the TFAW Project. So in case anyone was wondering, like, oh my gosh, why was there no podcast episode? Well, this is why, because we're recording it right now. So all that being said, thank you, Nani. Thank you for co-hosting and walking this journey with me. It's continually fun and joyful and just affirming. So thank you. And any closing thoughts from you before we go?
Yes. Well, as always, thank you for leading this process and creating this space for us all to even do this and have these conversations and come together, even if it is something as casual as an IG Live, that you guys are listening in on us recording a podcast episode. We really don't take your time for granted. And we were just had so much fun hanging out with you today. So
Yes.
next time you see us go live, definitely click the little icon and see what we're up to, because as we alluded to in this episode, we have lots in store for the new year.
Awesome. Last shout outs. I didn't realize a bunch of people joined. I don't know why. So Lavi and Mona, thanks for joining. Tiffany Joy, Maria Floramel. Please, y'all, I'm like the worst at pronouncing things. So thank you all so much for joining us. Abby, thank you for the snaps. And with that said, we love and appreciate you all. Happy New Year. Hope you have a wonderful weekend ahead. And we'll chat with you in the next episode, or we'll see you online. We'll see you soon. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the Filipino American Woman Project podcast show.
Do you want to continue to be part of the conversation? Then join our Discord community for free today. Check out the link in the show notes to join us now.
And don't forget to subscribe to our weekly newsletter for the latest show updates and episode releases. The link is also available in the show notes.
Lastly, if you wish to support us on our journey, consider showing us some love on biasboba.com.
That's all for now. Chat with you next time.
Yay!